One of the things that I find most despicable is when you have somebody in an authoritative position, especially somebody who we believe is supposed to serve and protect, even though I believe that the police mantra is to enforce the law. Either way it goes, when those type of people go through this training, they are scrutinized, they are diagnosed. You do as best as you can to try to make sure that you put these people in the position because you think you selected the right person. To go through all of that and then to go through training and then to finally get out there in the field and you have a story like this that you have to present, I'm going to tell you guys before we even get started, I'm going to say some things that are going to offend you. So let me give you a disclaimer first before I say something that might make you mad. Some viewers may find the following content offensive and controversial. The information in this video comes from multiple sources, including court records, official police charges, news web articles, and interviews. This video commentary also contains my personal opinions about the facts of this story. The point is to use this story as a cautionary tale in hopes of preventing tragedies like these to children going forward. Viewer discretion is advised. That is your official disclaimer. And I know people might not like me playing that every single time. Why you got to play it every single time, Jay? You could just show it on the screen. No, I'm going to read it out to make sure that everybody knows what you're about to walk into. Let me say this real quick. First of all, as a police officer, police are already going through enough scrutiny as it is. Don't y'all think? Like we're constantly talking about, the police out here, doing all of these horrible things that you continue to keep seeing in the news. So it puts a stain on the police. It puts a stain on this particular city. More than anything, it puts another stain on black men. How desperate can you be? How dumb can you be? How foolish can you be? Like, I know people might think a lot of crazy things. It's one thing to think and it's another thing to act. And here's where my portion of religion starts to come in, because I believe that if something is in your heart, it might come out in your actions. If it's in your mind, it'll go to your heart. If it's in your heart, it will show in your actions. And I think that this particular incident was in this man's heart and it showed in his behavior. Now, I got the story from lawandcrime.com. They know I love them. Thank you so much, lawandcrime.com. A 22-year-old, since fired police officer in Georgia faces charges of concealing the death of a girl by the name of Susanna Morales, a 16-year-old girl from Norcross reported missing by her family last July. Please understand, this is definitely another missing child story, but how long she was missing, just brace yourselves. This is going to be a little bit heartbreaking, okay? Authorities with the Gwinnett Police Department announced the arrest of Miles Bryant. And let me get that fool's face back up on the screen because he is a damn fool. This dude right here. Miles Bryant, also of Norcross, on Monday, also noting that the defendant is charged with false report of a crime. The charges against Bryant come less than a week after investigators confirmed that they found that little girl Morales found her remains in a wooded area along Highway 316. On Monday, here's their report, I believe. On Monday, February the 6th of 2023, so this wasn't that long ago, shortly after 6:30 p.m., Gwinnett police responded to Highway 316 between Drowning Creek, and the Borough County line after receiving a call from a passerby stating that they saw what they believed to be human remains in the woods, police say in an update on the investigation. Detectives and CSI responded to the scene, and the Gwinnett Medical Examiner's Office took possession of the remains. Detectives are investigating the manner and cause of death of Morales. On the night Morales was last seen alive, she texted her mom and she was on her way home, but she never ended up making it home. On Tuesday, July 26th of 2022, Morales texted her mom at 9:40 p.m. saying that she was on her way home. At approximately 10 p.m., Morales had not returned home. A location application showed Morales walking on Singleton Road to her home from Windscape Village Lane near between 10:07 p.m. and 10:21 p.m. Morales was last seen wearing light blue jeans, a yellow spaghetti strap shirt, and white Crocs. Between 10:21 p.m. and 10:26 p.m., about a 5-minute span, Morales' cell phone indicates that her last known location was Oak Lock Trace near Steve Reynolds. Morales' cell phone continued to show being in the area of Oak Lock Trace until the cell phone died or until it was turned off. But I'm pretty sure, if you know the details, the cell phone was probably turned off. I don't know that for a fact. I'm just assuming it's probably what happened. Now, on February the 8th, Gwinnett police confirmed the family's worst fears. Human remains found 2 days earlier between Drowning Creek and Barrow County line belonged to the girl that you see on the right-hand side of my screen. Just seemed like a beautiful individual and just had a lot of promise, man. And to get this kind of news is any parent's worst fear. Even more so. I don't know how many parents of you guys are out there. Like, if you guys are a parent, speak up in the chat and let me know. Because I'm a parent and I am a father of a girl about her age. This bothers me a lot. And I'm going to tell you guys, I know that we're supposed to allow the law to do what the law is supposed to do and hold this person accountable in a court of law. But I'm going to tell y'all this, and y'all tell me if I'm wrong for saying this. I'm a father first. Law-abiding citizen, yes. But I'm a father. And that's what she had on the left-hand side of the screen the last time that she was seen. And I'm going to tell you, as a father, this doesn't sit well with me. And I could understand in my heart if a person might feel like they don't want to let this get to litigation, if they wanted to take the law into their own hands. I'm just telling you, I could understand. I'm not advocating for that. I'm not advocating for people breaking the law, but what I'm saying, I would understand if they didn't in this case. As a father, I'm just telling you. Let's get back to the story. As recently as January, police in Gwinnett said that video evidence from Morales' cell phone indicated that she may have gotten into a vehicle when walking in the direction of home. Authorities said that the manner and cause of Morales' death remains under investigation. Concealing the death of another in the state of Georgia is a felony punishable by up to 10 years in prison upon conviction. A false report of a crime is a misdemeanor offense. Gwinnett County Sheriff's Office records reviewed by Law Crime show that Bryant was booked just before 5 p.m. on Monday. The defendant, reportedly expected to appear in court, was listed as in jail as of Tuesday morning. Bryant is now a former officer with the Dorville Police Department. Here's the part that news report did not indicate. Unless I'm wrong, and I'll retract it if I'm wrong, but I think that they found this girl in the woods without clothes, completely naked. And they believe that she was probably it was suspected that she was sexually assaulted. I can't say that R word, but y'all know the word that I'm talking about. They suspect that that's what happened. It's just sad, man, to just see a damn fool take advantage of a baby like that, man. Let's go. Some viewers may find the following content. That's the wrong disclaimer. Let me get the fair use up here. Let's go.
Good afternoon. Thanks for being here. I'm Rob Hughes.
And I'm Gervier Denson.
And that is not the fair use. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. If you guys are listening to the sound of my voice, if y'all would help us out and please click that thumbs up, it help us tremendously. Even if you aren't able to type in the chat right now, at least hit that thumbs up. We want to have as many thumbs up as many people are watching right now. So if y'all would help us out with that, greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Here we go.
Good afternoon. Thanks for being here. I'm Rob Hughes.
And I'm Gervier Dinsup. The community is stunned as a now former Doraville police officer faces felony charges connected to a missing teen's death.
That's right. Police in Gwinnett County say the officer played a role in the death of 16-year-old Susana Morales, who was missing for more than 6 months. Her body was found last week near Highway 316. Atlanta News First reporter Rebecca Schramm is live near Norcross. And Rebecca, you're uncovering some new details in this case.
Yeah, Rob, you know, police are telling us very little about the arrest, but I pulled the arrest warrants. I am here on Singleton Road, and somewhere right around here was where the teenage girl was last seen alive. Well, check this out, because right over here, this is the apartment complex where the officer lived. A neighbor of the now former police officer shared this video with us, showing Gwinnett County Police collecting evidence yesterday, including a bed sheet they found in his personal vehicle.
You have 2 warrants, a misdemeanor and a felony. Do you already know what those are?
Yes, sir.
At his first court appearance, 22-year-old Miles Bryant spoke only when required. He's accused of concealing the death of 16-year-old Susana Morales, who lived not far from his apartment near Norcross. He's also accused of filing a false report of a crime. According to the warrant, the day after Susana disappeared, Bryant reported his vehicle was broken into and his gun was stolen. After Susana had been missing for more than 6 months, someone discovered her remains last week in some woods off Highway 316 near Decula. Her sister spoke with Atlanta News First shortly after they laid Susana to rest.
Honestly, just so surprised that he's an officer. I mean, we never expected that, and maybe that's why everything took so long for everything to find out, but we knew that eventually everything was going to come to light.
I'm going to appoint a lawyer for you.
I've learned the Georgia Peace Officer Standards and Training Council suspended Bryant's police certification this morning.
Your bond was denied by the judge that signed the warrant. Now, the reason given was that you are a danger to the community.
Now, it's important to note that at the moment, the now ex-Doraville police officer does not face a murder charge. His only felony charge at the moment is concealing the death of another. Was anyone else involved? Do detectives think that this ex-officer acted alone? How was Susana killed exactly? We're going to keep working to get some answers to those questions for you. Live near North.
On July 26th at approximately 6 p.m., we know that Susana Morales left her home on Santa Ana Drive in Norcross and walked a short distance to the Sterling Glen apartment complex on Indian Trail Road. There, she met with her friend for about 4 hours, and at about 10 o'clock, she began her trek back to her house. We know that between 10 and 10:30 p.m., Susana had an interaction with an individual and ultimately was not seen or heard from again. This case was immediately assigned to our Criminal Investigations Division, who worked diligently on this case and followed up on a number of leads and tips. However, those leads and tips did not come to fruition. We know that on February the 6th, a citizen who was walking in the area of Drowning Creek Road and Highway 316 happened upon skeletal remains. The Gwinnett County Police Department sealed that crime scene, the Gwinnett County Medical Examiner took custody of those remains, and they were positively identified as having belonged to Susana Morales. The following morning, February 7th, we brought out a large contingency of police personnel and conducted a methodical and meticulous search known as a grid search. And during that search, we located a firearm that had been reported stolen on July 27th. This is the same day that Susana was reported missing. That firearm we traced back to a 22-year-old former Doraville police officer named Miles Bryant. Bryant then became a person of interest in our case. We continue investigating, and on February 13th, we secured warrants for concealing the death of another. Since that time, our criminal investigators have been working this case continuously, and we have reached a threshold to where these charges have now been upgraded to felony murder and kidnapping charges.
There's been some reports.
That's the part I wanted y'all to hear right there. So that's more of an update than what the original news story said in the video. So the charges have been upgraded. Because remember, at the time, he was just being charged with filing a false report of a missing person, which is a crime in itself. But it's been upgraded to murder. So if there's a murder charge now, actually, let me back that up just a second.
This case continuously, and we have reached a threshold to where these charges have now been upgraded to felony murder and kidnapping charges.
So felony murder and kidnapping charges. So some people in the chat were wondering, well, how did he get a hold of her? Well, he kidnapped her. More than likely, it sounds like he did it very forcefully, maybe even at gunpoint. I don't know really what the gun had to do with it. If he shot her, that I don't know. But I do know that there's probably more that's going to come into play. Now, whether they're going to actually be able to prove sexual assault or not is really hard because this girl's been missing for 6 months. She might have been laying out there for 6 months and her body might have deteriorated to the point where you might not be able to prove that. But I think that actually plays a role in this as well.
There's been some reports that there was another woman who had some issues with Bryant. Do you guys believe there are additional victims that either may have been killed by him or may have had some other kind of harmful interaction with him?
So to be clear, we have no information at this time linking Miles Bryant to have harmed someone in a similar fashion. What we do know is that in 2018, Miles Bryant lived next door to a neighbor. We know that in 2018, he went to this neighbor's house and allegedly tried to enter the house through a window. The police were called. We conducted an on-scene investigation. Miles Bryant countered that argument or that allegation. The homeowner in that case did not wish to prosecute, and so that case ultimately was resolved. There is a 2022.
Y'all hear that? He tried to crawl through somebody's window and they denied wanting to prosecute. Why? Why? Why would they not want to prosecute that? Somebody coming through your window? And here's the thing. A lot of people out there would prefer to use deadly force if you find somebody crawling through your damn window. So if it's going to come to a point like that and you didn't have to engage this person with a firearm, then why would you not at least press charges? Like, why would they let that ride out? Like, I don't like that at all. Let's hear that again.
In an on-scene investigation, Miles Bryant countered that argument. Information at this time linking Miles Bryant to have harmed someone in a similar fashion.
Here's the part where I want y'all to hear it. I just want to rewind it so we can play it again. Here we go.
What we do know is that in 2018, Miles Bryant lived next door to a neighbor. We know that in 2018, he went to this neighbor's house and allegedly tried to enter the house through a window. The police were called. We conducted an on-scene investigation. Miles Bryant countered that argument or that allegation. The homeowner in that case did not wish to prosecute, and so that case ultimately was resolved.
For that reason alone, I think that should have prevented him from being able to be elected to be a police officer right there. Let me know what you guys think about that. I think that right there should have prevented him from being brought into the police force. Just the mere allegation. Like I said, I mean, I know people might say things about you. I just think that it sucks when it turns out like this, when you're like, damn, we had an indicator of what type of dude that this possibly was. We missed it. Now, maybe legally you can't prevent him from being a police officer, but I just think that if you're just like, you know what, I just don't want you to be a police officer, I think you ought to be able to do that.
There is a 2022 case, December of 2022, in which Miles Bryant visited the home of an acquaintance. We believe that he may have tried to enter a residence, and we're conducting an investigation on that case. We do believe that warrants are forthcoming.
Y'all heard that. Let's one more.
Back the layers tonight of a disturbing murder mystery. A former police officer's cruiser and personal truck towed away after he was charged in connection with a teenager's death. We now know 16-year-old Susana Morales' body was naked when investigators found her last week, 6 months after her disappearance.
That's where that news report came from. Let's hear that again.
We now know 16-year-old Susana Morales' body was naked when investigators found her last week, 6 months after her disappearance.
She was found in Decula, more than 20 miles east from where she was last seen alive in Norcross. This map shows you just how far away that was. Atlanta News First has been on this story from the very beginning. And tonight, we're learning more about the man charged in connection to her death, that former police officer, Miles Bryant.
Atlanta News First Patrick Quinn has been digging into this investigation surrounding the former police officer all day long. Patrick, what have you learned?
Well, first we learned tonight that Miles Bryant, the 22-year-old, he remains in Gwinnett County Jail tonight. I just checked the jail records, and today he was denied bond by a Gwinnett County judge, and he currently is being charged with withholding the death of another. And the judge said he denied that bond because Bryant remains a risk, a threat to the public. And we have been digging into court documents today and acquired by Atlanta News First. We learned that detectives suspected Bryant of murder and rape
there.
and seeking an arrest warrant.
Wait, let's go back. Oh my goodness, that was it right there. Matter of fact, I think I can make this video bigger because y'all not going to be able to see that on your screen. I'll show you.
Back the layers tonight of a disturbing
As long as it'll let me show my screen.
murder mystery.
Let me try something real quick. I don't know if this is going to work. Kind of does. Kind of showing a bit much. Hold on. Let me try it again. I want to show y'all this. Let's try this again. I need to make that bigger. There we go. Let me show y'all something.
A former police officer's cruiser and
in Norcross. This map very begins Bryant.
Atlanta News Patrick, what
The 22-year-old in that county because Bryant digging. We learned that detectives suspected
right here
today and acquired
right here. Because these are words I can't actually say on my stream.
To the public, and we have been digging into court documents today and
right here. Now let's break out our trusty whiteboard real quick. I'm going to highlight a couple of words. If I can. That don't look to be working. Let me remove that. Whiteboard. There we go. Let's go yellow. Boom. Boom. It was easier the way they used to have it before. I don't know if y'all can see that. Can y'all see that word right there? My trusty whiteboard said I got to zoom way in. Y'all can't see that? Okay. Let's make it bigger. Hold on. Hold on. Let's do that. This is an interactive show. Let's go right here. Make that bigger. Is it showing? I don't think it's showing. I don't think y'all can see that. Hold on. Let me try it again. Now, let's make this bigger. I had to save it as a screenshot. Can y'all see that word right there? Can y'all see it now? Because that's a word I cannot say on my stream. Let me know when you see it. Give me a second here. Let me pull this up. Boom. Boom. Right there. There's that R word. Oh, y'all can see it? Okay, now you can see it. Right there. There's that R word, and then there's murder. There's the R word, and there's murder. So that's why I said that there's more than likely going to be more charges coming. So the murder charge is there now, but there's also going to be that sexual assault word that I can't actually say right there on the screen. I just wanted y'all to see that because you probably weren't going to be able to see that. And I'm sorry for those who felt like I went above and beyond to try to put that picture up there so you could see it. But I had to make sure that y'all saw that's in the actual report.
Said he denied that bond because Bryant remains a risk, a threat to the public. And we have been digging into court documents today and acquired by Atlanta News First. We learned that detectives suspected Bryant of murder and rape and seeking an arrest.
Well, they said it. I didn't say
quote,
it.
The accused lives in close proximity to the victim and dumped her naked body into the woods. Acquired by Atlanta News First, we learned that detectives suspected Bryant of murder and rape and seeking an arrest warrant. They said, quote, the accused lives in close proximity to the victim and dumped her naked body into the woods. The detectives suspected Bryant of murder and rape and seeking an arrest warrant. They said, quote, the accused lives in close proximity to the victim and dumped her naked body into the woods. Now, he made his first appearance in court today, and it's important to note that Bryant has not been charged with murder or the death of Susana Morales. Not up to this point. Neighbors tonight shared with us these pictures of his Doraville police cruiser being towed away. One neighbor said they watched as investigators pulled a sheet out of his personal truck.
The only thing I seen them do was go through his personal truck, and it was the back of it, and they took a sheet out of the car and put it in the crime scene bag.
And that investigation very much ongoing. And neighbors tonight, they said they recognized where he parked every single night, same spot of their parking lot. And they said, yes, what's really hard about learning about all these allegations and the current charges today is, yes, the proximity, where how close they live to where he lived, but also the fact that he was a law enforcement officer, someone who was meant to protect and serve, and now potentially could be linked with doing just the opposite. Live tonight.
So let's stop it right there. Again, I personally believe that this puts a stain, again, on the police. And it's just like, you can only hire who you feel like is suitable the best that you possibly can with all of the rules and regulations and checks that you have to, checks and balances. And it's just, they still get it wrong sometimes. With regard to him stalking down this young girl, kidnapping her, sexually assaulting her, and then taking her body and just dumping it in the woods like that, like you did somebody's baby girl like that. Like she was nothing. Like her life meant nothing. And as a father, I'm sorry, I would find that an impossible pill to swallow. There's no justice on this earth that will ever make up for that. And yes, this bothers me because my daughter was this girl's age. So I fear that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to my parents out there. Continue to just keep tabs on your kids. Watch your kids as best as you can. And, we just have to just pray that this type of stuff doesn't happen. If there are more measures that you could take with your children, whether it be, I don't know, with your girls walking. First of all, I really don't think that kids should just be walking around like that, especially when they're super, super vulnerable. Maybe some pepper spray, maybe some self-defense or something like that. But again, to that young soul, to that girl, let me get her face back up here. Princess, R.I.P. She's such a beautiful soul, man, and she deserves so much better than that. She deserved every opportunity to grow up and go out into life and become something great. And you had somebody like this asshole who stole that from her. Okay. But thank you guys so much for listening with an open mind and an open heart to the story. Please make sure and share this story. Spread more awareness about what's going on with our babies. Okay. Thank you.